analysis. Today, we are not starting with news, but it is going to be an update on Euro USD, my previous analysis in the channel for about 4 days ago that we discussed about this currency pair. And the link is in the description if you are interested in. This is what happened just as an update. We discussed about one of the possible scenarios that what we are expecting that price going to return to this level to support zone, and as you can see we had very sharp return because of the bad news about Silicon Valley breakdown and the news. Another scenario, as you can see, it was just a little bit of momentum to the top, but after that, returning to the same level. But now we know which scenario we have been reached. So let me get clean the charts, and I want to start to go a little bit of go through the little bit of history, what we discussed in the previous analysis. You know that we actually do our analysis via technical analysis price action method. It means that we just take a look at the price, and as I prefer, I always start used to and also prefer to start from the weekly view to have a good sense of a history. So let's just zoom out a little bit. I can see that we have had a downtrend, a very major downtrend uh, here. So I know that this is going to be impulsive. There is no reason for me to start counting the waves because we know we were in a very huge downtrend from many years ago, and this one has been reached to created another lower low. So as the impulsive, so let's just call this out the end of the end of impulsive or major impulsive or weekly impulsive. So as we know that, the first thing that I want to know is to grab this Fibonacci retracement tool to see how much this impulsive wave has been corrected. And as you can see, it has been returned to the 15 percentage, which is so important, as well as a very important weekly zone. So if I remove these levels, I've fetched the required information. Let's get rid of it. And now I can see that price has been touched this level. We know that it was the 50 percentage of Fibo. I've also removed this another call out this bottom, but it is not important. Let's bring it back that it is the end of the major or weekly impulsive wave. Okay, so we know that we had this impulsive, this reversal to the 15 percentage, as well as this critical zone. We can see that how many times price has been reacted to these. Not so much of a detail, but we can see more details when we jump into these into the daily view. But this is, I guess, this is enough for taking a look at the weekly chart. Always just a few ways ago, finding major support and resistance zone. So here is the current price. This is the major support. This is the major resistance, and that is a good information. And it's time to move on to the daily chart. So if I now zoom out a little bit, I can add more arrows to this level. As you can see, price has been reacted to this level more than this. So we have this in the history here as well. I can extend this a little bit. Now we are in a better view, but that's enough. We have understood that this is the important resistance level. And let me in this daily just take a look at this one. So uh, this momentum, this uptrend, was the corrective structure, or at least a sort of the corrective structure. We don't know how it is going to impact, but the one thing that I'm interested in, you just draw a trend line. Let me just create a better view of this momentum. So just create this thread line. We have seen that, oh, also we can create another one on top. So I guess it is some sort of a parallel channel if I can successfully draw them more accurately. So here was the channel. We know that it has been broken here. So this daily structure has been broken. So here is the breakout of the daily structure. And also we have seen a retest recently. It was the point of our previous analysis. So it is going to be the retest, as you can see, retest the broken level after this breakout, reaching out to the 15% of Fibo, returning from a major support zone after the impulsive wave. The correction is done. It has a breakout after this reversal and the retest, and that's the current situation. But not only that, if I just zoom in a little bit, now we know about this structure and the breakout. I can remove them to clean the chart a little bit. I want to take a look at this in another way. This retest, as we know, was on this breakout point. It is also sitting. This was the breakout point. It is also sitting on the another resistance zone, but in a daily resistance zone. So I can see how many times price tried to break these shadows here, and also it has been reversed from this point. So it is so crucial to understand this. We're really getting close to this end of this one. So as the if I want to look at this corrective structure one more time, regardless of how we want to count, we know that this was the corrective structure, but it might be the first wave, it might be the combo, any kind of corrective structure. It can be because we are still inside of the territory of this wave. We don't know if we have just started a new uh, actually impulsive wave, but anyhow, in each scenario, we can count this as a minor impulsive wave to the top. And now this return can be a kind of corrective structure, or if it is the end of this corrective structure, this tiny reversal might be the beginning of a new trend. So we have two possible scenarios to talk about this one. So if I jump into the hourly, let's reset the view. So this momentum to downside might be the corrective structure of the previous uptrend to this level, 15%, or it might be the start of the our impulsive wave just to down as the downtrend. In each case, I can, as we discussed here, we had two possible scenarios in the previous stream. That price might be reach out to this point, or it might return to the down, a little bit of down level, and we know this is now, it is more clear. We also removed that, um, but I want to bring it up again because it's a really important daily or hourly support zone. You can see how many times price has been reacted to this level, and we have just seen that price again, after this very sharp momentum downside, it has been reversed again from this support zone. But in case of returning back, a scenario that did not happen, and we were not expecting that much either, um, it could be a combo corrective structure of this, so to say, impulsive wave. So in that case, I used to, again, if you're interested to look at that, we talked about a combo corrective structure, but that didn't happen. Actually, we are seeing a more sharp. So the point that I want to actually talk about it is that regardless of if it is going, it is if it is going to be a corrective structure or impulsive, it is not going to be a side wave. It is not possible uh, anymore because we didn't see this uptrend momentum. The price just showed us that in this hourly structure, in this hourly resistance, it has been reacted, and it seems that it is not going to create that sideways long structure range market here. And it is almost as the action of price is talking to me, as I'm utilizing price action method. It is telling me, no, I'm morely going to be a little bit of sharp corrective structure, or maybe I'm even an impulsive, more powerful impulsive. If I go back to the weekly view and reset the chart again, we talked about this major trend line. Sorry, this major impulsive wave and the corrective structure. It might be the next one just down below here. I'm talking about this scenario, that this tiny reversal can be a start of, again, go back to this hourly view, can be the start of that major downtrend bearish momentum. So in that case, I can say that this is going my first wave, as I can see that it actually tried to reach out to this support zone. And I'm seeing some sort of a correction to that wave. And this correction, it seems to be some sort of expanding triangle or reverse triangle, how you would like to name it. And you know that these triangles, I can count the waves as A, B, C, D, and E. Let's change the colors to, yeah, I think these are minor waves, but let's change the color to something that it can be viewed better. So these are minor waves. So I can see that, yeah, it has been created as such, and these expanded triangles, they are continuational patterns. So it means that if they happen in this any triangle, it is actually a continuational chart pattern. So any of these, we know that these happen, but now it is saying that we are expecting to see a breakout as triangles are corrective structure. And then inside this trend line, when they happen in continuation of uh, downside is possible. And these expanding ones usually happens when price has a really good momentum. As you can see, it goes up and very fast down. So these kind of emotions coming into the play as the psychological reasons of these patterns talking to us. So this might be the momentum. Anyhow, so it can be this correction can create an ABC, or it can be a sort of an A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as an impulsive, as we discussed about it. Well, let's just remove all these stuffs about these patterns. I want to also take a look at these one more time. I can find another tiny hourly this time. So we have three triple support resistance level here, one major weekly level here as the bigger one, which was the 15 percentage of Fibo retracement as we have it. Another one is our daily resistance zone that price just reversed from that, as we talked about. We talked about it in the previous analysis. Again, the link is in the description if you want to look at that. But now I have found another resistance level as the hourly structure. As I can see, price has been recently actually reversed from this point several times. So this can be enough for me. So I can also adjust it a little bit because it is hourly. Maybe I can also have uh, a little bit of uh, not that much wide, I mean. Okay, now price I can see that just when I was talking, it was moved downside in the last 4 hours. You can see that this reversal now it is more obvious as we were also discussing about this in this last previous 4 hours. So this is showing me another pattern, which is head and shoulder pattern. So this is this, and this is not a still a pattern. Just to clarify, this is a possible head and shoulder, which this one is the left shoulder. Uh, I can emphasize this is the possible head. Let's add this here. This is my possible head. So they might be there still, but this might be not still completed, might be the possible uh, right shoulder. Uh, this one here might be the possible right shoulder. So as I can see that this has been reached to this level, and it didn't uh, actually in the past in our previous ones, it didn't take the path of being a little bit of a combo corrective structure. It seems that it's going to be sharp, also reverse again sharply in an hourly structure from this hourly zone. So as my short-term conclusion, I'm expecting that this reverse to this level, and it will complete my head and shoulder pattern. And according to that, if I want to uh, grab this tool, if the breakout happens, I can have some sort of uh, continuation after this breakout to somewhere as the length of the neckline and the head and shoulder. The neckline is this support zone as well. So after the breakout, we are going to have the length of continuation as the length of head from the neckline from this breakout point as the target above. So this will be my long-term, mid-term conclusion if that breakouts happen. And also, yeah, I could actually talk about this midterm on a daily chart. So we can clean up the chart a little bit. We talked about that reversed triangle or expanded triangle. Also, we talked about this hourly resistance zone as well as the reversal. So this is the short, this is the long as the target of this head and shoulder. So probably this is going to be our um, close to this level. You can see that we have a major level here. So this reversal might be this way. Another way that I can find the target, not just the levels, not just that target of that triangle, uh, sorry, that head and shoulder pattern, also the extension levels. I can see that the 161, which is good. I guess it is a good target for this one because it is exactly sitting on this resistance level, and also it is going to be the third wave. So I had the first wave. Uh, well, just let me remove this. Just pay attention to this that it is sitting on the 161. Let's remove this. And now we can see as the first wave or A, doesn't matter how you call it, this is the first to second. Then maybe after this we have some, if it is an impulsive, it is going to just reverse and rest a little bit and come back, or maybe break this out and retest that level and come back. All these scenarios might be possible. So as a long wave, long term, I know that it was an impulsive wave. As the details, I can see that this correction, it seems to be done as it has been. We have seen that it started a more sharp return. So it is possible that as a long term, let's again clean up the chart a little bit. So these zones are not really important anymore in this view, but I'm going to see a more continuation somewhere to this trend as the long-term conclusion of these. And this is one of the scenarios which is more obvious to me. This is why I personally expecting. But other scenarios, it is always good to take a look at other scenarios. It is not just what we are saying, thinking. Another scenario might be that if you remember from this let's just summarize the previous one. The major conclusion is that we had a short-term corrective structure here, and then maybe the continuation or as the midterm to reach the target of this possible head and shoulder, and also more continuation as long term. But it is still possible. We discussed about this reversal to this level, which didn't happen. But as a second scenario, it might be that we might have a reversal to this level. The reason is that if I jump into the more actually lower time frame, if I try to draw a trend line of what is going on here, I can see, let me quickly just draw this channel. This is the channel. We are at the bottom of this channel. This is an uptrend channel. We might be a reversal because we are on the bottom of this channel. So this might be a reversal to this point as the second scenario. That's the reason I'm talking about this scenario. So coming back to the hourly, we know that this might be possible, but again, uh, maybe a bigger bright shoulder or a double top here, creating another time price might reach to this level, and it might come back again to downside. So regardless of which path it will take, I'm expecting that we are going to see as a short term anyhow to this level again soon. And we talked about this head and shoulder, but how we can interpret this from the Elias wave theory, because also I talked about that. We can see that, yeah, we had this impulsive wave, a corrective structure, if you remember, about this symmetric, this expanding triangle. But we can see this as not an expanding triangle. Another side wave correction, as it has been reached to this very important support zone, but it is going to have at this level, not at the above level. At this level, we are going to have a little bit of combo corrective structure. So after reaching out to this level, then we might see just one ABC to top. Then this is going to be an X. So another movement, as we are talking about this continuation of this uptrend as a second possible scenario. And then we might reach out to this level again as the reversal, or it can even be a longer one. So as the my first one, the X, the second one, another link as the second X. Sometimes we see the double X, and the Z. Then after that, we are still going to have the expectation to reversing back to this level anyhow. So this is the if price just show us that, yeah, I'm still preferring to stay in this channel by returning completely, returning to this level, because if I again uh, try to utilize this Fibonacci retracement tool, but now this time for this level, we can see that it has been almost reach out to 61 percentage of feeble level, which is the golden ratio. But and with this return, as we talked about it is possible. But also, let me remove them, just clean this chart a little bit. Also, if it prefers to return more and correct it more, then we might see a more range market if really these euro and USD cannot find against each other correctly. So in that case, we might see a more range market in comparison to our first scenario that it was sharp to downside. But what I'm not expecting to see, the only thing that I'm not expecting to see as the very sharp reversal, if something like this happens, it will really surprise me. This is not something that I'm expecting. The reaching out to this previous 50 percentage or continuation of that this previous weekly corrective structure, if I reset the chart on the weekly again. So having a sharp return from this, let's in a bunch of these arrows here, it is really good practice to always talk on a very clean chart. So as the continuation um, of these two very sharp backing to this level, because as we also talked about that this might not be the end of this correction, which seems it is, but it might not. And if it sharply return back to the top, it will really surprise me. This is not something that I'm expecting. Mostly, as I said, I talked about the first scenario is that continuation of the bearish momentum down here and try to create this head and shoulder pattern, complete this triangle, expanding triangle, and do a breakout on this expanding triangle, which this was the upper level of that. So the breakout of this, as well as the breakout of this support zone, I removed that, but it was a support zone. This is the expected behavior to the downside. So this was my update to Euro USD. The previous one, as I said, the link, the previous analysis is in the description. If you have any question, please put comments or add them to the chat. Or if you also have a major question, I have a Discord server. You can jump into there. You can ask your question, any question that you have about my any analysis, because you can also have access to my previous analysis and my YouTube channel. So all the links are in the description. You can find them in my channel. If you have any question, you can also reach out there. Anyhow, until next analysis, thank you for watching me and have a nice day.